Today I am here to read Chapter 10, which begins Part 3 of this book, Final Gifts, written by Maggie, Callanan, and other hospice workers, written back in 1992, I believe, when hospice was still fairly new. This is an amazing book that personal stories of those who have gone through the stages and phases of dying and death, and how we, the loved ones, can help make this, well, our loved ones' most peaceful journey, as it should be. Chapter 10, Final Gifts. My name is Natalie. I'm the Good Shepherd here on our small hobby farm. And we'll just see how my flock goes. The only ones I have not let out yet are the sheep. So let's dive right in. What I need for a peaceful death. This section of the book covers requests for what a person needs to die peacefully. Some people realize a need for reconciliation. Some request the removal of a barrier standing in the way of a peaceful death. Still, others need particular circumstances to die peacefully. Perhaps choosing the time of their death or the people who will be there. Realizing what they need, dying people often become concerned. Some communicate a tremendous urgency. Coherent requests usually bring action, but requests that are vague or indirect may be missed or ignored. If the awareness of an important need comes late when death seems to be imminent, the person may delay or prolong the process of dying in an attempt to settle an issue or effect a final reconciliatory meeting. A person's anxiety, agitation, or prolonged dying can be upsetting for everyone, patient, family members, and friends, and healthcare workers. Often the response to agitation is to sedate the patient, and sometimes the family. Sedatives may help relieve agitation, but medicines alone are not the answer. Trying to stifle agitation without analyzing it, and if possible, attempting to bring about a resolution of the underlying matter, may increase rather than decrease the distress. Understanding issues that need resolution can enable us to better assist dying people and help us realize the need for reconciliation and completion in our own lives. Chapter 10, we must go to the park. Here's the story of Andrea. Walking through the front door of Andrea's comfortable suburban home, I introduced myself. "I have some questions for you," she said in a businesslike manner. Her husband, Tom, stood behind her with a look of calm curiosity, holding the youngest of their 3 children. The other 2 were sprawled out on the kitchen floor, busy with their coloring books. "I need to know who you are," Andrea said to me as she put on a coffee pot. We sat together at the kitchen table as I briefly told her about my professional background. "Why do you do this work?" she asked in the same direct, efficient manner. "Isn't it depressing?" "That's a hard question to answer," I said. "The sadness and tragedy of someone's dying is always there. I do feel it too. But beyond that is an opportunity for me to help a patient cherish the final chapter of her life, to use this time to resolve issues, say important things, finish unfinished business, and share important moments with people she cares about. My job is to keep my patients as comfortable as possible, not just physically, so they can do those things and use this special time the best way they can. I also feel strongly that, like birthing, dying can be an opportunity for the whole family to share positive experiences, rather than only sadness, pain, and loss. That is the challenge of this work, and that's the joy for me." Andrea was quiet for a few minutes, then smiled and poured me another cup of coffee. I realized that I hadn't finished my job interview yet. "I have uterine cancer and have been told I'm dying," she said. "I want to know what it's going to be like." I was amazed at the lack of fear in the eyes of this remarkable 29-year-old woman, and clearly it was not unusual for this couple to talk so openly with their young children present. "I've never died," I said, "so I can't tell you from personal experience. But I have cared for dying people for many years now, so I can tell you what I've seen and what they've told me." "Great," she said. "I'd like to hear about that." I started by telling her of the physical changes that were common with her disease: loss of appetite with resulting weight loss, weakness, some pain, and possibly some mild nausea. I explained how we would try to control the various discomforts she might develop using diet changes and medications. I explained she probably would experience increasing sleepiness and dreaminess, perhaps some confusion toward the end, leading to a brief coma before she died. She probably would die of liver failure, but with proper symptom control, we would be able to keep her comfortable. Okay, that's what's going to happen to my body, she said, but what's going to happen to me? She was curious and amazed when I told her about nearing death awareness, that other patients had talked of being with someone who had died already, getting ready to leave, seeing where they were going, and knowing when it would happen. I told her they also showed us they were not powerless in this process and were often able to tell us what they needed to die peacefully and even choose the actual time they died. I assured Andrea that in all my experience, with rare exception, I hadn't seen painful or frightening deaths. She seemed surprised and relieved. I gave Andrea a copy of Dr. Raymond Moody's book, Life After Life, which describes near-death experiences, suggesting she might get additional information from it. I explained that although she might have near-death experiences, as she got closer to dying, her experiences probably would be different from these, possibly much slower and more gradual, and she might be able to share them with the people around her as they actually happened. She was very excited about this. I mean, this is my life, and I'm not dying, but this is exactly what I'm going through. I was supposed to tell you about the hospice program and how it would be of help to you, I said. We laughed. You've told me what I really needed to know, she said. When will you come back? On my next visit, Andrea greeted me at the door. She was excited. Tom and I read the book together, she said. It was so helpful. We read parts of it to the kids. If that's what dying is like, I think I could do it. I was touched by her remark. I think I can do it. Not I want to, but if I have to, I think I can. This information clearly helped Andrea feel less frightened and powerless about dying. I'm fascinated, she said. This information has really helped me, so I want to help you any way I can so you can help others. I tell you what, if any of these things happen to me, I promise to tell you about it, okay? So we had a pact early in our relationship. Being involved with Andrea, Tom, and their young children was a delight. Their openness, desire for honesty, and ability to work out difficulties as a family amazed me. I applauded them for involving the children in all that was done or discussed, as I knew it would play a major role in how well they would deal with the tragedy now and the process of grieving later. We've always included them, Andrea said. We believe honesty is the best policy with kids. But even if we didn't, how could we have a private conversation with 3 kids under the age of 7 underfoot, she laughed. I asked how the kids had reacted to the book. They thought it was neat, Andrea said. Lisa said it sounded like magic. One day I arrived to find Andrea in tears, silently sitting on the living room floor, surrounded by 3 grocery bags, 1 for each child. These are the kids' baby books, she said. I never had time to put them together properly. Look at my beautiful babies, she said, handing me some pictures. How I hate having to leave them. I'm afraid they'll forget me, so I want each one to have something special to remember me by. Would you help me? It's too hard for Tom to do so. I sat on the floor with her. Together, we cried, shared the tissues, and started working on 3 little books, each titled Mommy and Me. I felt drained by sadness, but filled with admiration for this beautiful young mother. 3 weeks later, I happened to be driving through Andrea's neighborhood. Her routine visit wasn't scheduled, but my day had ended early. Having some extra time, I decided to stop by. Andrea met me at the door looking very pale, but pleased to see me. What a surprise, she said. I was just thinking about you. Come on in. She started to sway as if dizzy. I'm going to be sick, she mumbled. I grabbed her arm as she stumbled past me to the bathroom. I shouted for Tom to come quickly as Andrea fainted in my arms. Awkwardly, we lowered her to the floor. She was hemorrhaging. Tom was panic-stricken. Don't tell me this is it, he said. Isn't there anything we can do? They may be able to reverse this with the aggressive treatment in the hospital, I said, or we can keep her comfortable here at home. But if she loses too much blood, she'll die very soon. Andrea said she didn't want any more treatment for the cancer. But what do you think she'd want us to do in this situation? It's too sudden, he said. She's not ready yet, and neither are we. He started sobbing. There are things she wants to finish for the kids, and she just started helping me figure out the family finances. If it's possible to buy a little more time, I think we need it. She'd want us to try. We called the ambulance. Andrea was admitted to the hospital intensive care unit, where she responded to treatments and blood transfusions, finally regaining consciousness. I was allowed in to see her. Andrea, I'm so glad you're feeling better, I said. We all had quite a scare. She reached for my hand and held it very tightly. Remembering the look on her face before she became unconscious, I suspected Andrea had experiences we couldn't see and felt sure she'd share those with me if she could. Did anything happen? I asked. I could see her struggle to put her thoughts into words. It's impossible to describe the look in her eyes as she stared intently at me. Awe, wonder, amazement. Did something good happen? I asked. Yes, she murmured. Oh, yes. Can you tell me anything about it, even just a word? I asked. I can't, she whispered. I just can't. She slowly shook her head. Don't worry, I said. It's okay, maybe later. I'm just so glad you're back, and it was a good experience for you. Andrea never was able to describe what happened to her that day, but there was a peace and tranquility about her that was felt by all around her. Andrea puts on a brave front to protect others from her pain and fears, Tom said a few weeks later. That's her way of making it easy for them. Every now and then she'll let me hold her and we cry about what's happening to us, but not too often. She won't say anything, but I know she's hurt about the way my father has acted, he continued. The two of them became pretty close after her parents died. I think she and Pop really love each other. He's not much of a talker, but they got along great anyway. After he retired and my mother died, he'd come by every day to help Andrea with the kids, but that was before she got sick. When we told him about her cancer, he flew into a rage, shouting at both of us. We were speechless, and it really upset the children. Give him time, Andrea told me. He needs to work this out on his own. He's just too upset right now. There was an angry edge in Tom's voice. Well, time turned into weeks, and things didn't get better, he said. Pop stopped by occasionally, but didn't stay long and was gruff and abrupt. I came home from work after one of his visits and found Andrea in tears. I feel like he's angry at me because I might die and leave you stuck to raise these kids alone, she sobbed. Does he think I would choose this to happen? Let me tell you, Tom said, I could have killed him on the spot. I grabbed that phone so fast and called him. Damn it, I shouted. We've got enough going on without putting up with you too, and slammed the phone down. We haven't seen him since. It's so unlike him. How could he be so cruel? Judging from the description of Pop's behavior before Andrea's diagnosis, I suggested that perhaps his father actually loved Andrea so much he couldn't deal with losing her or face the changes that were happening. You and Andrea have met our social worker, I said. I feel certain he could help with this problem. I truly think Pop's suffering a lot of emotional pain himself right now. You're right, Tom said. The social worker has been real helpful. Maybe he could talk to Pop. I'd rather not deal with him myself. Our social worker visited Pop and reported that he was so devastated about Andrea's illness that he was overwhelmed by rage, grief, and fear. How could something like this happen, he'd said. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Andrea acts so brave. I'm afraid I'll lose control and break down every time I look at her. I love her so much. She's the daughter I never had. Then I look at those babies and I just can't bear it. She's such a good mother. What will become of them? How can Tom possibly manage all this and support his family too? The social worker visited regularly and was able to help Pop begin to recognize his feelings and confront his fears. But we all felt a sense of urgency for this reconciliation to take place, as Andrea was now deteriorating rapidly. She'd been able to finish the financial work she'd started with Tom and the books she lovingly made for each of her children. She had hired a woman to care for the kids while Tom was working, and as though knowing that her work was done, she seemed to just let go. Andrea was in bed all the time now, so I suggested a hospital bed might be easier. We don't want one, Tom said. There won't be room for me and the kids in a hospital bed. Too weak to participate in any of her care, Andrea slept most of the time and had increasing periods of restlessness and confusion. But a clear and insistent phrase in her incoherent ramblings was, "We must go to the park." I asked Tom what that might mean. I was concerned that her restlessness indicated that something was making her uncomfortable. She and Pop used to take the kids to the park all the time, he said. It's Pop she's waiting for, I'm certain. She's suffered long enough. I'm going to get him and bring him here right now, whether he's ready to come now or not. Eyes blurred with tears, Pop could barely navigate the stairs of his son's home. When he saw Andrea, he exploded into sobs, cradling her in his arms. "I'm here, sweetheart, I'm here," he said. "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I love you so much. I'll never stay away again. I'll come every day, I promise." Andrea's eyelids fluttered as she barely whispered, "Pop." "Could I stay here tonight?" Pop asked. "Yes, we'd like that," Tom said. Andrea died peacefully that evening in their king-sized bed, surrounded by Tom, her children, and Pop. Moments after I arrived, Tom told me that as Andrea was dying, their daughter Lisa, who must have remembered the descriptions of leaving the body as part of near-death experiences described in the book they'd read, looked up to the ceiling and, waving, called out, "Bye, Mom. We love you. Have a good magic trip, and don't forget to save us front row seats in heaven." Chapter 10. Whoa, where did that come from, right? Oh, we are all creatures of beyond habit. We are creatures of emotion. And emotion comes from, well, somewhere beyond our mind alone. It comes from our soul and from our life itself experiences. And I continue to share that these books I'm reading on dying and death and near-death experiences, I've experienced them all myself. And that was a real tearjerker. In life, we just want to understand it, right? However simple our non or misunderstandings are of life, we simply want further understanding. And in order to have that further understanding, we have to be yearning and desiring to seek by being open to receiving such things as, you know, I mean, this is a beautiful book. Wow, that's a beautiful story of this lady.